To celebrate Angela returning to the show, we're going to start with a challenge. I want to see if the Beard or Angela can guess what this product is before I tell you. I'm going to give you a few hints. I'm just reading from the packaging, okay? I can hold the packaging in my hand. It's about the size of a really large TV remote. You ready? Dynamic temperature management. Arch support. Targeted cushioning. That's the front. Triggered by body heat. Comfort without bulk. Wash before wearing.
The magic wand.
Let's have a conversation about Amazon for a moment. Everybody here in this room is an avid Amazon customer.
Yep.
Probably going to be for a long time. And they've launched several products recently that could easily trigger that creepy vibe. But I think it's worth talking about in sort of like multiple aspects. And Aunt showed me one today when she got to the studio that I had no idea about. So I guess to set it up, turns out Amazon's experimenting with running their own shipping company.
Apparently, or local delivery of some kind, yeah.
What would it say? Do you remember what it said the carrier name was when you looked at your package details?
AMZL space US.
Okay. Now, the AMZL space US carrier happens to have a unique aspect about its deliveries that Ange discovered when she went to go check on the shipment details.
Yep. So I was looking at the different things that I've received recently, and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't recall receiving this one. And so I went onto my Amazon account and went to view order details, and it said it was delivered, of course. And then I scrolled down, and you know what I saw? My front porch. My very dirty, messy front porch, right? I give away a lot of things, so my porch was an absolute mess. But I was like, holy crap, they're taking a picture of my porch, right, with the package, obviously. They're taking it so they could say, look, this is where we left the package. And there's an option right below it that says, tell us what you think about this picture. Like, well, I've cleaned my porch now. That's what I can tell you. And second, there's another option, and it says, don't take pictures of my porch. This isn't available for every item, because I did look at one of the more recent ones that was delivered by UPS, and UPS is not taking pictures.
Right.
So.
And I'm sure if they use like U.S. Postal, that's not going to take pictures.
No, yeah. So it's interesting. I think I like it. You know, we've had issues with not receiving packages.
Yeah,
so.
That would be really, really nice if Amazon had a picture that proved that I never... Of course, see, the thing is there's actually no record I even got the shipment.
Yeah.
So if you just look at the order, you can see I never received shipment. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine for those of you who haven't listened to the back catalog, we're actually still trying to get Amazon to refund a mixer that we never received from them. It was over $1,000, and I based on their response on how little shits they've given and how little they've believed us, this must be a rampant problem. This must be something that people abuse all the time to the point where they almost assume you're lying. And this is their solution, I guess, is to take pictures of your porch, and you're going to leave it on.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I wonder if I do, because that's where I'm at with all this. So,
well, what it won't solve is if they delivered it and then somebody came and took it off your porch.
Oh, that's true.
You know, it's not going to resolve that.
But that's not their problem.
No, no, but I think they tend to be pretty helpful in reshipment.
Well, they have an answer for that too. But did you have any thoughts on this before we shift?
I just figured out what the L means. It's logistics.
Oh, okay. So there is a solution in the works to solve this problem where people steal the package too. And it's a new service that Amazon is integrating with several other OEMs, other manufacturers, and it's called Amazon Key. And it was announced today. Yesterday. Name. Yeah. Amazon Key is not itself a product, but it's like a suite of stuff. Oh, here's a little...
Hey everybody, it's Ben Popper with The Verge, and I'm here today checking out Amazon's newest offering, Amazon Key. This is a smart home system that's going to allow delivery people to actually open the door, get inside your house, and drop off the package.
Yeah, so they work with several different smart lock vendors and essentially use their API, their cloud-connected API, to unlock your door remotely. And then Amazon exposes this to you as well as a user and lets you unlock the door for people intentionally. So it's not just for their use exclusively.
Oh, that's cool. I could just see like the big red button at Amazon, and if somebody presses it, everybody's door's unlocked.
You know, I want to be creeped out. I want to be creeped by this. But then I think about the fact that we receive extremely time-critical, expensive equipment that if we don't get it, we can't produce a show. I think I would be willing to let because it's not if like a postal person or a USPS person, a FedEx employee, it's their job if they screw with that, and plus they don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the system works and it locks and there's some sort of, if I could receive a push notification telling me when they've entered,
It does.
and then when they've left and it's relocked, then that's a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have one of these locks to begin with.
I don't think this is ever going to be a widely deployed product, because when there's inevitably a breach with your smart thing, Amazon is going to have to pay billions.
Well, except for Amazon's not making the hardware. It's like August Locks, and it's other companies that are
They're
making.
spreading out the liability.
Yeah, they're just integrating with their API to be able to remotely unlock your door.
Well, yeah, but what if the breach is in the API? It doesn't matter who made it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of issues. Like Nest could have an issue where attackers could turn the microphone on a Nest camera, or Ring could have an issue where they could watch you come and go from your front door all the time. All of this, anything that's connected to the network that is running an operating system is eventually exploitable by anybody motivated enough.
And I also was going to say, I don't really mind Amazon taking a picture of my porch, but if they can take pictures inside the house, then that's kind of creepy. And this is just giving them access to your house instead, which is even creepier to me.
So so you're kind of on the creepy train. So what do you think about the Echo Spot? It's an alarm clock. It's cute. It's round. It's the best looking Echo device I think they've ever made. It's got a 2.5-inch round screen, and it's meant as an alarm clock with a camera.
That's kind of creepy.
Why?
Probably because they're pushing their video calling and their phone calling. I know. It's a strategy
So you talk
tax.
to your alarm clock?
So the idea is somebody could call you next to your bed and you could have or maybe you video stream a Yank session. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it's for.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think it's the Spot can be used to make video calls, and the idea is that you would make a call next to your bed. This to me seems like a strategy tax there, where they so badly want to introduce like some sort of Amazon calling service for Prime members or whatever.
I mean, it could tie into other things too, though, because you get the whole Amazon medical thing. They could be like monitoring sleeping patterns.
Or you need to call the doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of anything with a screen that's presenting the news to me when I wake up. That's the last thing I want, and that's kind of what this thing's about. Not big on that. The weather, sure. But
it's probably
I don't need to see what Trump tweeted the first thing when I wake up, because that's always what the top headline is.
It's probably got the skill API, so you could just like make it show you poops or something.
Wake up to the poop emoji.
Yep.
But bringing us back to the Key for a moment, since this is the new product, there's some interesting details. Like you buy it as like a kit, even though it's another vendor's product. You buy it through Amazon as like a $250 kit or something?
Installation kit, yeah, which comes with a webcam, which only enables once the Amazon person is there. They scan the package and it unlocks your door. They set it inside. That's when the camera starts taking the footage, and it does exactly what you said, a push notification that, hey, your Amazon package is delivered, and then turns off once the door is closed and locked.
I see. So they're including an Amazon Cloud Cam Key Edition. This is the new hardware here, which is the indoor security camera. It's a 1080p night vision 2-way audio camera, and then you choose the Amazon Key compatible smart lock, like a Yale. And then they have created an Amazon Key app, which watches for deliveries. You can check in with live view. It's essentially like a Nest app, and you can unlock your front door anytime you want.
I wonder why it needs 2-way audio. That's weird.
Well, a lot of these offer it. A lot of these cameras do offer it. So, and it looks like you can either install it yourself or you can get an installer to come and set all this up for you.
Yeah. So I think that what will happen after, it's mildly adopted is we'll have those articles like where the Uber drivers tell their stories of what they've run into. These Amazon people that open the door and there's somebody naked there.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's why they have the 2-way thing, so they can be like, hey, I'm coming in if you're naked.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's interesting. But that would be creepy too, like intercom.
That would be startling.
I hear a voice downstairs.
That would be startling. Whoa, what? Oh my God.
It'll be interesting to see, because eventually there will be some stories, some pretty good stories.
That's very true.
Although there'll probably be some sad ones too. Like,
oh no.
Reporting people for neglect or whatever.
Or you open the door and somebody's lying there dead.
Oh my God. Really?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, but...
I think Beard's right, though. I think this is going to be a minimal adoption product. I I don't think a lot of people are super comfy with this, and there's not a lot of people that want to add a webcam to their entryway. It's just not, maybe a security camera, but a webcam you're going to sit on a table. It's just not happening, really.
Right.
This is too much.
I like how Amazon is kind of like starting to just cover the entire stack.
They sure are.
They're inside your house. They deliver to your house. They have unattended stores. They have attended stores. They have the internet stores.
They're working on drones. They're legitimately working on drones. They are working on AI with the Echo product line. The Echoes are taking off. They have a full spectrum product line there, and that's essentially putting an Amazon storefront in your home, which is
the Dash,
yeah. It's just. They are an unstoppable machine.
Is Amazon making money yet?
I think their cloud stuff makes money.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about like their main thrust of their business where they sell things?
They have other concerns at the moment. LinuxAcademy.com/unplugged. Go there to support the show. Get a free 7-day trial because, and you know what your most valuable asset is?
Education.
Well, in a way. I was going to say your mind.
Oh.
And how do you enrich your mind? How do you invest in your mind?
With Linux Academy.
Linux Academy. Education. LinuxAcademy.com/unplugged. You go there, you get a free 7-day trial. It's a platform. Think of it. It's a platform to learn about Linux. Boom, stop right there. Why didn't somebody build this sooner? Because they didn't know what they were doing. It took real Linux enthusiasts to pull this thing together. They got developers and educators and hardcore Linux lovers all in one spot, and they created the Linux Academy. Self-paced, in-depth video courses in every Linux, cloud, and DevOps topic. You got to wrap your head around something? You go to Linux Academy. Wait a minute. Hold on. Something just dawned on me. You know what? We should do a Linux Academy challenge right here on the show. Linux Academy challenge. I challenge one person to go over to Linux Academy, sign up, use our URL, linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Okay, you ready for this? Go learn Ruby and then come back here and let us know next week. And if you complete, you'll have to send us a screenshot and we'll send you some swag.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
LinuxAcademy.com/unplugged, the user error challenge. Come on now, right?
This is good.
Yeah? It just came to me like a beacon, maybe from the multiverse. So here's my thinking, is that you get going with the Ruby, maybe you can hang out in the dev channel we have going in Discord. Next thing leads to the next thing, and next thing you know, boom, you're on one of our shows talking about a project you started because you accepted the Linux Academy challenge. I'm just spitballing here.
The problem is, Chris, nobody in the dev channel uses Ruby anymore.
Well, then why did you make me pick Ruby, dude?
Isn't it a building block? I mean,
you're the one that we came up with this idea before the show. I mean, why did you make me?
You totally didn't spring it on me.
So wait a minute. Okay, let's have a little back office meeting. Okay, what language are you thinking?
Go.
You bastard. Well, you know what? Actually, how about this? They pick the language. How about that? Let them pick the language.
Whatever they want to learn.
Maybe this can be the motivation to get started. It could be Go, or it could be Ruby.
As long as it's not Perl.
I actually thought we were using Ruby, so what do I know, right?
Yeah.
No, it can be Perl. They get to pick the language. Go to linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Take a look to see what they have. Of course, they have every Linux topic you might want, Azure, AWS, all that stuff too. But this, let's do a make something challenge. And just send us a screenshot. They have public profiles you could link us to as well. And Bob's your uncle. You might just end up getting some swag. And by might, I say you will if you actually do it. How about that? This is fun.
Yep.
The Linux Academy Challenge, linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Just to follow up on Project Loon, the balloons that Alphabet's sending up to help connectivity, it's happening in Puerto Rico. We talked about this recently on the show, and they're working through AT&T. So essentially, they're extending the AT&T network. They're not bringing in some new mesh networking that's like Google Fiber or something. But you would think this actually makes sense. They're adding existing infrastructure where AT&T has holes, so that way people can make phone calls. So it's obvious why they would do this. And they say 90% of the AT&T has been hard at work since the hurricane. They say that they've restored access to 60% of the population there. Sorry, not 90%. And I don't know, the idea is fascinating. So if you're not familiar, essentially Google puts up these weather balloon looking things with a solar panel dangling from the balloon, a solar panel that dangles from the balloon kind of tilted upwards towards the sky. And I bet you get pretty good solar up there. And then below that, a complicated set of equipment that is antennas and computer and all these things that handles communication. And the balloons can talk to each other, but it's more about communicating with base stations. So the balloons go up and they can extend service from base stations that they can communicate with, and then they can extend that service to areas that don't have any coverage at the moment. And they've also used it to include not just phone calls, but what they're calling limited internet connectivity with support for basic web access, email, and text messaging. So it seems that Project Loon is working. It's not one of those crazy Google things. It's really actually happening.
So basically, it's just like floating cell towers that could fall out of the sky at any minute.
Worth it, though. I mean, totally worth it. This is
where we're going to get drone regulation.
Oh my gosh! No kidding. No kidding.
No, we're gonna have balloon regulation.
Well, I mean,
drones are gonna be flying into balloons. Although, maybe we could just build a little collision avoidance into all this stuff, and everything would just take care of itself. That could be. Hashtag AskError. What gets weirder the more you think about it? What gets weirder the more you think about it? I have one.
This question.
No, you want to know what mine is? Mine is really just, it's time in general. Time, the more you think about time, the weirder it gets. But here's what's really weird if you think about it. Technically, I am seeing a slightly out of time version of Rikai than I am of you, because Angela's sitting closer to me. And there is a slight difference. I can't perceive it, obviously, but it may be measurable, the time that the light takes to travel from Rikai than it does to you. And the further you look down the road, the further in time you're looking. And you extend that all the way out to space, because that's all we're doing in telescopes, is just looking further and further and further and further away. And then we start to see things that happened billions of years ago. But the phenomenon actually is right here, localized. We just have no way to perceive it. And that is weird.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's why we're building bigger and bigger telescopes to look further and further back in time to the Big Bang.
Yeah. Language in general is just noises we make with our mouth that we all agreed upon. That's weird. And when you hear other languages, you realize how true that is. Like, you really, I remember when I was a kid, the first time I heard another language, I'm like, wow, they understand. Yeah, it's just something we've all made up.
Mine is a bit more controversial.
Oh, yeah? What is that?
Recently, it has blown my mind. When women are pregnant, and typically, our body's immune system kind of, it doesn't shut down, but it suppresses itself so that our body
kill the baby.
Doesn't attack this parasite growing inside of us, right? And the recent suggestion that pregnant women get flu shots really bothers me for that reason. I don't know how doctors think that the body is going to create a good reaction to that flu virus while it's suppressed and trying not to attack that baby. So it kind of blows my mind that on a very basic, like even non-biased...
Seems like when you're prego, that's the time to go like minimal on the stuff you do like that.
Everything.
Yeah. Caffeine,
like
nitrates, all that stuff.
And like listeria is not a huge deal. It can happen to us as regular, non-pregnant people. But when you're pregnant, you're like 90% more possible. It's more possible for you to be really sick from listeria because of that suppressed immune system. So you're supposed to warm up your lunch meat when you're pregnant, right? But doctors are saying, inject yourself with what's known to be some toxins, metals and whatever, while your body's in this state. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
Another weird one, that I think is strange, is kissing, because it's it's cross-cultural. Like other places, like remote tribes kiss, other totally different cultures kiss. Like kissing is like a universal thing that humans do to express, something to each other, and it's not like just like an English thing. It's like hardwired into us as a way to express affection.
It is, but at the same time, like it's treated very differently. Like over in Europe, for example, you kiss people on the face that are completely strangers.
It's true. Yeah.
Americans like their space.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. It's all space itself. Very weird. There you go. So okay, there was another one that came in. There's a few that came in via the Discord too. Let's pick one of those. Hashtag AskError. What tech are you most excited about seeing before you die? Like, for example, maybe like a Hyperloop or
self-driving cars.
Yeah, I think that's on my list. Self-driving, like full automated. Like, say I wanted to leave the studio in 45 minutes. I open up an app and I order a car, and it shows up. There's nobody in it. I sit down. It's got a little table. I work, and it shuttles me off to wherever I'm going next with Wi-Fi the entire time, and I never have to worry about the road. Is that the kind of like you're talking about?
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
I think we could also potentially see replicators in our lifetime.
Now you're crazy. Now you're. See, I'm all on board. It's probably just as crazy as self-driving cars to that level too, though. Actually,
I mean, I think the only thing holding us back is actually the energy requirements
and the ability to combine energy into matter. That would also be challenging.
I mean,
in any way that actually was useful.
I feel like we could figure out how to assemble matter. We already know how to break it down.
Maybe that'd be some hell of a 3D printing. I tell you what. Yeah. Maybe it'd be more like 3D printing than it would be an actual replicator, but it'd be assembling matter slowly.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is more likely to happen, because I feel like a couple of companies are working on this right now, is I think it would be a fundamental health revolution for people if wearables like Fitbits and Apple Watches and all the Google Watches could start monitoring your blood sugar along with your heart rate. Like the way they, without anything invasive, without an embedded full-time like glucose monitor that's just streaming data via Bluetooth, but like the watch itself is actually taking the measurements without puncturing your skin. I think blood sugar is a health metric that tells you so much about yourself and your energy and all of that, that if we paid more attention to it, people would lose weight, people would understand why they get sleepy at certain times, and it would help people prevent diabetes. Diabetes can be, for some people, obviously not for some people, but for some, it can be a preventable disease. And it's just, we have no way of measuring it right now, aside from being, if you're super in tune with how your body feels. But it's one of these things that can be a life changer for you. And then I think about my fiance Hadia, and I think she has to poke herself 6-7 times a day. She has to draw blood.
She has type 1. So she's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, since she was 7. And if she could wear the Apple Watch, and even if she had to like still check in maybe a couple of times a day just to make sure, but if she could raise her wrist and see, okay, my blood sugar is at 155, and once you start collecting it all the time, like you do your steps and your sleep, you can start graphing it. You can start seeing, oh, I'm having a way harder time on Friday and Saturdays. I can see after 8 o'clock. You can start establishing trends that can help prevent future blood sugar crashes or blood sugar spikes that can really improve life, which can extend the life of a diabetic.
Because you have a data stream instead of data points.
Yeah, and I think that's something we may see maybe in the next 5 to 10 years even. It's extremely hard to do it and do it accurately, but Apple's gone to the FDA recently for approval on it, so they're working on it. I bet a bunch of other companies are too. And boy, that'd be huge. That'd be so great. What about, I've just gone on and on. So do you have anything that you would like to see come in your lifetime before you go that would be like a big technological advancement?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Nope, I don't know, because I'm not quite the early adopter that you are. And you
don't feel like there's anything super missing right now.
I think maybe more self-diagnostics, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I got my 23andMe results, which will be in another show or another user error potentially with Chase. And it's really interesting to know some of the things that are wrong with my body, and that a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to know that. But the cool thing is I have an opportunity, just like diabetes runs on both sides of my family. It is listed as a high risk for me. I can change things now.
Except for Mountain Dew. You got to keep that.
I know, right? I was just hiding it off the desk here. Anyway, but there are things that I can do now that really could make the difference. And but the problem is doctors don't want to help you heal naturally. Except for naturopaths, I think generally are more geared towards that.
Yeah, but then
my mainstream doctor. Yeah. She wants to prescribe me a pharmaceutical, and I'm not that way.
I think one of the things I think that's really a good point, because one of the lessons I've learned is there's a fine line. Like there is too much self-diagnosing where you can work yourself up into a frenzy and you don't maybe have the background to fully appreciate what you're reading.
WebMD.
Yeah, that's why you see like doctors' offices that says Google is not a substitute for my medical degree. They have it's such an arrogant thing. But anyways, at the same time, I kind of feel like, well, fuck you. I'm intelligent enough to take in a lot of information and then form an opinion, and just help me do that.
Yeah.
Help me become self-educated, because every time I get determined and I do that, I end up better off. It's never failed me yet. So that's the approach I'm going to take. So let's just understand that this is the reality we now live in. You have people that are motivated, they have access to information, and then you have these devices that are extremely fast and intelligent and connected to the network. There's no reason I need to go into the doctor's office for half the stuff. If I can spit in a tube and send it to a doctor's office, why do I have to go in? Why can't my phone analyze that? Why can't my phone send the data off?
Yeah, when I was pregnant with Dylan, remember the midwife told me to increase my iron because of my anemia, which I have like a stupid antibody. But so I did, and I wanted to do it through diet as opposed to pills, because iron pills suck. And so I was eating a lot more iron.
Yeah.
But what my midwife didn't tell me, and I had to find out later when my iron levels didn't go up, is that calcium blocks iron absorption. And I am a cheese fan. So I got cheese all over this S, I put cheese on my iron.
You have plenty of calcium.
So I had to, and then on my own, again, I found out that vitamin C gives priority to iron absorption over other metals, and it also, so the thing about the self-diagnosis is,
and they never told you any of that.
No, you only get one angle. So okay, everybody thinks that I think it's B9 or B12, one of them. I need a lot of that. Okay, but there's other things that you need. You're going to throw other things out of balance if you just self-medicate.
Yep, well, that's very true. The thing that's always really struck with me is Hadia has literally had doctors tell her, well, you're a diabetic, so you can't wear sandals.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean she can't wear sandals? Well, one day her toes may become numb because of a blood sugar condition, and so she may accidentally hurt her toes because she can't feel them, and therefore she may have an open wound that could get infected, and she would be unaware of it, so she could get an infection on her foot, so therefore don't wear sandals. Well, what the hell? That is such a one-size-fits-all recommendation. You're a diabetic, ergo don't wear sandals. Like that is not the world we live in. It's not that black and white.
Because doctors have been shifted to reduce liability by the maximum amount.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose so. Wow, how did we get on this? Oh, that was the self-diagnosis.
Or some sort of...
It feels like that's going to happen.
I hope so.
Regardless of what medical professionals want, and maybe for worse, I don't know, who's to say, but that trend feels like it's only going to get bigger, and there's going to be eventually companies that are going to build products to serve that market one way or another.
So I have two more.
Okay.
One's another crazy one in the medical area.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I think we are going to see a new category of surgeries that are enhancement surgeries, but not cosmetic enhancements. It's bionic enhancements.
Ooh, like what kind of bionic enhancements?
I don't know. Better eyes.
Yeah.
Better hearing.
I could definitely see hearing. Eyes would be hard, but I could see hearing, or like dick enhancement, like like the little motors in there,
or having electronics inserted into you that give you extra information somehow.
Yeah.
Wow, I would not be eligible.
No.
I'm allergic to
they might
4 different metals.
They might be able to build it. They probably wouldn't build it out of metal. They'd probably have to build it out of some sort of organic compound.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want the body to constantly.
And the other one I see is the energy grid going away as we shift to renewable energy sources that are actually at a level that can maintain a house.
A nuke in every backyard. Only this time it's going to be solar panels and power walls.
Yep.
Interesting.
I hope so.
Huh.
I hope so, because
I feel like that one will probably take a very long time just because of...
The best defense against power grid attacks or vulnerabilities or shortcomings even in the power grid would be to have people be
no power grid?
Yeah, no power grid.
That's interesting, yeah, because I had dinner with Stan. I consider him my mentor last week, and that's one thing he mentioned is our power grid's going to go down.
Oh, yeah, the media is constantly... I just played clips last night on Philip. The media is constantly banging on that.
Yeah.
Out east, the power grid did go down 10 years or so ago.
Yeah, and California's had to have roll. I mean, it is a vulnerability. It is more resilient than people think simply because it's so incompatible with each other from a technology standpoint. that it'd be hard to have one attack that would take out the entire grid, but you could take out areas. The thing is like I just recently was having a conversation with somebody who really knows this stuff because they install it, and the solar and the Powerwall stuff is happening at a large clip, but mostly it seems to be like with more so new buildings and new installations. People are just installing it if they can. And this stuff is really fascinating to see because it's it's expensive, but it's getting down. And if Tesla is successful with their Powerwalls and their solar panels and all of that, and I think like a year ago they bought Solar City, which is a solar company. So they're going to work on bringing the price down. And I could definitely see it. Like, why not? Like, say, got down to a reasonable price, and JB could put some panels on the roof, and we wouldn't have to pay for power anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd.
You'd probably still be connected to the grid. You would have to be, so that way you could pull. But you know what I mean? Like, if they could reduce the bill by like 80% or something,
or start selling energy back to the grid.
Yeah, that too. That's probably the only thing that's going to really slow that down would be if the economy slows down and then people can't afford to do it.
And regulations. They'll regulate the crap out of it. Like,
there seems to be a lot of incentives.
You can only sell back
solar.
a certain amount, and
or entrenched interests of the people selling you the power.
Yeah,
sure. But there does seem to be some incentives from like tax break standpoints and whatnot for doing solar. So there is some encouragement there.
And it's interesting that you said that the incompatibilities kind of make the grid safe, because I believe when the grid in the Northeast went down, like the entire Northeast went down pretty much. And that was due to incompatibilities.
Yeah, and you can have like some sort of power problem that causes. I'm talking like the one that the media is always banging about is cyber attacks, and that I think is not a big of an issue. But you can still have failures, of course. I wonder because, for me, if I put 2 or 3 panels on top of Lady Jupes between that and the generator, I basically am. That's all it takes. It doesn't really. It's simpler, I think, than people realize to get going. So it could happen. It could have a good prediction. Was that it? Was that all of them? I like those. Those are all good ones, guys. DigitalOcean.com. Go over there, create an account, and then use our promo code of absolute power and knowledge. Here's the thing. Put it all together like you're slurring it, and then you'll get a $10 credit on DigitalOcean. And you can get started in less than 55 seconds with one of their extremely fast rigs. They call them droplets. I call them rigs because let's be honest, when you can attach block storage and control it with an API and use object storage and cloud firewalls, that's a rig. That's a rig. I love building rigs, and you can too over DigitalOcean.com. Go deploy a Linux box in seconds. They have monitoring and alerting. They have entire stacks ready to go. So if you know somebody that wants a website or somebody that wants to maybe distribute a podcast, they have entire stacks. One click, boom, ready to go. Good to go. Like Ange comes to me, she says, "Hey, Chris." I say, "What is it, Ange?" She says, "I think I need a website. I need a placeholder for a project." I say, "You know what I say?" What do I say? I say, go to DigitalOcean.com, use our promo code, here's the thing, and click that one button. Boom, entire stack, ready to go. Ready to go.
What if, rather than rigs, we call them trains, because you just hook things on the back?
I like that. And you have an engine, which is the core droplet itself, right? And then you got train cars, which is like your object storage and your monitoring and alerting and your SSD performance and your dashboard for days, right? Those are all different cars on the DigitalOcean woo-woo train. I like what you're putting down there, Beard. And then go check out Spaces, beautiful and simple, reliable object storage. It's a thing, people, and they have nailed it. Securely store and deliver any amount of data with the simplicity you'd expect from DigitalOcean.com. And it's integrated with that API, because that's how they do. DigitalOcean.com, use the promo code, here's the thing. And a big thank you to DigitalOcean for sponsoring User Error.
Let me tell you how I spent my last Thursday night. It started with picking up Bella from her daycare, right? So that's a 40-minute drive, 20 minutes each way. I'm almost home and I get a text from the beard.
Angel, can I'm gonna pre-apologize right here.
Wow. I get a text from the beard that says something like, "Hey, Ange, do you think you can help me out?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm driving, but yeah, totally available. What's up?" And I knew he was planning to go somewhere soon, so I figured it was he needed a ride to
the airport. Which would have been my job to get him to the shuttle.
Well, something needed a ride to the airport.
Yeah, something did. So he says, "I am on my way, and I realized I don't have my wallet. can you go to the studio and grab my wallet and bring it to the airport? And I'm like, okay, Chris is already really far north and it doesn't make sense for him to do it. I can do it. I'll delay my kids' homework. I'll pick up pizza. See if grandma can take the kids so that I don't, lose my S on the way to the airport.
Because it's a long drive to the airport.
Yeah.
Especially during Seattle rush hour.
I had just finished 40 minutes of driving and then drove, it's another 40 minutes in the opposite direction, 20 minutes to the studio and back.
I didn't think you'd make it in time for his flight, to be honest with you.
I didn't either.
Well, you know what? She didn't.
Yeah, you had to delay the flight, right?
Yeah.
You had to get a later flight.
Yep.
It took 2 hours to get from my exit to Seattle. It was just stopped. And at one point I texted the Beard and said, you might want to look into your options because I don't think I'm going to make it. It took me I think 40 minutes to drive 3 miles. It was really stupid. So he did look into it. And what's funny is that in order to change your flight, you need ID.
Of course.
And thankfully, I don't know what personal favors he offered to this man or woman that allowed this
maybe
change.
Maybe it's that beard. I mean, if you saw that beard.
Right. It was the beard. But anyway, so he got it changed to 8:30, and I was confident that I could make that, and I did. But it literally was 5 hours of driving last Thursday.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I took the Beard to the shuttle, which is only like 15 minutes from the studio. It's really awesome. And the shuttle,
you know what? Before you left, you said, "Did you forget anything?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah. Well, so I dropped him off, and I'm like, what I'm going to do is I put my phone up on my mount on my windshield, and I'm just going to leave the Telegram window open. I'm just going to leave it open in case he needs me for anything. And so I'm driving, and I leave, and I get gas, and I'm about probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes up the road, and my screen finally goes to sleep, and I'm like, that's probably fine. And so I just start driving, and it must have been 40 minutes after, somewhere after that, you called me. You finally, because you tried to text me, but I wasn't getting it because I was driving. And so you called me, and I'm like, I'm like an hour and 40 minutes north already.
Yep.
It's kind of impossible. And I thought for sure you were screwed. I thought there's no way she's going to get down there in time. There's no way they're going to let him on the plane.
Yeah.
So I would have been screwed if I hadn't been able to change my flight.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was TwitchCon when she got there? Was it?
I really liked it. Just a whole lot of walking. I am not built for walking that much.
You're not kidding. It sounds like it was a lot of walking.
I hit new step goals every day.
Wow.
I think I walked like 50, 60, 70,000 steps.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's more than a couple miles a day.
Yeah, that's over the course of like 3 days.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. There was a lot of people packed into a pretty small area. And the convention center they used this year is really weird because they have the main like stage area, but then the rest of the convention is it's an attached building, but there's no way to get between the two places.
What?
So you have to leave the convention, get in line, and go back in to a different part of the convention.
That's kind of brutal.
Wow, it sounds like they need a new venue.
Well, this is a different venue than they had last time. Apparently last time people loved the venue. This time they didn't.
Yeah, that sounds really lame.
I guess there's not many venues that can fit 20,000 people, though. 15, 20,000 people.
Right. Did you see any, what is it? Is it gamers? Streamers? Did you see any streamers that you listen to?
Yeah. I hung out with a streamer that I watch all the time. His name's HC Justin. I also hung out with one of my viewers. I actually shared a hotel room with him. It was pretty fun. I went to a lot of panels. I feel like overall the convention could have been 2 days instead of 3 because a lot of the panels on the first 2 days were not very interesting, and on the third day there was only a few that were interesting, so they could have stuck them in the other days. But it was worth it. I learned a lot about things I need to do to make my Twitch more successful.
Great.
Oh, good.
Although
that's awesome.
The number one thing is time, and I don't have a time machine, so
No kidding.
Yeah.
Boy, and it just, isn't that a thing? That is one of the hardest things I struggle with.
Like every panel I went to, they basically said, if you want to do this seriously, you need to do like at least 4 streams a week, at least like 6 hours to stream.
What?
Yep.
6 hours, like continuous 6 hours of streaming?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
that's pretty much the average for anybody that's
Because
working at it for money.
This is gameplay, but not just game reviews, right?
Yeah, it's gameplay. It's hanging out. It's doing all kinds of stuff.
Showing your boobs.
True.
It's a lot of showing your boobs.
Yep.
If you got them.
I need to get in on this.
You should. You should. There's a money making.
To be shown.
There's a money making opportunity there.
It doesn't even have to be full boob. Just cleavage.
Yeah, really.
Right. Or side or under, right?
Actually, I think if you don't want to show too much, you just got to keep that. You
Yeah, if you show too much boob.
Keep it curious.
Was there a panel on that? Was there a class on that?
If there was, I didn't go to it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's something to look into, I suppose. That's so. Would you go again? I guess is.
Yeah, I'd probably go again.
If financing and time allowed.
I think I'd go again mostly for the networking aspect. Honestly, that's also another thing that a lot of the panels covered is the reason to go to these things is to network with people because the number one way to grow is to network with people.
So how was the swag?
It was all right. As an affiliate, I got a what do you call them? A fanny pack full of stuff, which included a tank sim.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And they're just embracing the fanny pack too. Yeah. Like going all in. Like
of course it's Twitch, so everything you get is purple.
Geez, that is clever of Ting. Just give out those SIM cards. Give them out. That because
they were one of the main sponsors for the whole convention.
Good for them. That's awesome. Sounds fun, Beard. Maybe I'll go sometime.
Oh, and then
why, but maybe
my trip back was pretty much almost. It was actually probably more cursed than my trip down.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. So,
but you didn't forget your wallet this time.
No, I did forget my headset. But luckily my roommate brought it down to me before I left on the Uber.
Oh,
which screw Uber and their surge pricing. My trip from LAX to my hotel was $23.
That's not bad. $23 for an Uber.
My trip back from my hotel to LAX was $80-something.
How?
Same distance?
Because since a lot of people were leaving, they did the surge pricing and the price quadrupled.
Yeah, and you checked Lyft too, right?
Wow.
Lyft was even more?
Yep, Lyft was over 100.
Jeez, yeah. Sometimes Lyft overestimates, though. I have noticed that about Lyft. They overestimate.
So are they doing that because they think the Uber driver will sit in traffic longer, which will take more time?
Nope, it's surge pricing, and it's literally because demand is high and they can.
Yep.
How is that legal?
It's all automated, too. So it automatically overcharges.
Well, that's what they say it is.
This sounds like internet.
Well, it is. It's demand for a product, and so when demand is high, they charge more. And then when demand is low, and the drivers probably make more money, too.
I would hope so, but
yeah. I mean, Amazon does the same thing with their with the stuff that they price. They raise the prices and lower the prices depending on demand.
And season. I notice at Christmas times the prices really start to go up.
I have found in my limited travels that if you time it right, it's not a big deal. Or if you can go to cities that have really good public transportation, like Salt Lake City has this tram that just runs through like where we stayed, Airbnb from there to right into the city, and screw Uber if the prices are high. You just ride the train and it's like $3-4 or something. It's not much. So that's something. But did you get a chance to do much, or were you all in the event the whole time? Did you go any restaurants or anything?
I was mostly in the event. I did get one local, I guess, LA food, and that was LA pizza something. And it was horrible. It was literally the worst pizza I've ever had. Yeah. It's worse than frozen pizza.
I have a feeling about most things in LA that way, except for some of the people. But otherwise, most things I have.
The people seemed all pretty good, although I guess it was mostly people from other places.
Yeah, at the end of the event.
But yeah, so my trip back, I started with the $80 Uber.
Yeah.
Then something I didn't account for very much was LA morning traffic.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Because I had come in late at night. So
I got smacked in the face with that when I went to scale.
It took half an hour to get from LAX to Long Beach. But on the way back, it took closer to an hour and 20 minutes. And that was a combination of LA traffic, and I think I sent you a picture of this, a car that was on fire.
Car fire.
There was a car that I guess ran into the back of the truck, and the car was engulfed in flames. So there was a whole lot of slowdown.
Yeah, everybody's got to look at that.
So the Uber driver didn't think that I'd be able to make my flight, and if I hadn't been first class on Alaska, I wouldn't have, because
you baller.
Because I got first class, and I guess it was worth the extra money. I was able to do expedited security, so I was in a line of 5 people instead of
all those
50
suckers?
people.
Yeah.
Nice.
See you, suckers. I'm getting on the plane.
And I got on the plane like
And
2
then they
minutes.
closed the door.
Yeah, 2 minutes before they were like leaving.
First class is the way. I mean, I've done it once, and it is so the way to go.
And then I got back here, or to SeaTac, and I almost missed my shuttle up.
Oh man!
Because the plane took longer than they expected. So I had to sprint across the entire airport because it was like the complete opposite end.
You know, on my Facebook on this day is all the when we went to Ohio Linux Fest in 2014.
Yeah.
And we had to run for our connecting flight.
Full on Home
And
Alone
Same
style.
thing. Yeah, same thing. They closed the door as soon as we got on. And somebody had the nerve to say, really? We're just waiting for them?
So I think over the course of this convention, I've lost several belt loops in weight.
Nice.
Yeah, you should just keep it rolling. Just keep that going. Like, you know, his problem is I guess it's nice
I'm off
today.
on my next trip.
Yeah. See, you lose weight when you go on trips. I gain weight when I go on trips.
All
I
the
don't
stress
go on
eating.
trips. I should go on a trip. Somebody take me on a trip.
Let's go to Italy. Wow, this is why you never go on trips. You're so picky.
We should, we could do.
Nice.
Actually, Hadia had an idea that I thought would be fun. Although the kids would never like this, but instead of doing Christmas presents, just doing a family Christmas at Great Wolf Lodge. Just doing
Oh, that's interesting. Because I was going to talk to you. I want to do Abby's birthday at Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh yeah. Oh my
because
gosh.
she has her birthday's January 5th. It's
Yeah.
winter birthday. She doesn't get nice
that-
weather.
That's a great idea. I think we should
And-
totally do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Christmas idea was a fun idea, but that was like, well, let's do this instead of presents. I'm like, no, they would still want presents.
Yes, they would. Yeah, it does. Yeah, their expectation.
You should go there for like a week. Just like go there over New Year's.
Dude, Rikai,
It's so crazy expensive.
it is like
Is it?
$300 a night.
Yeah, it's like almost New York hotel prices. Almost.
Yeah, almost. But and then they have a great buffet downstairs. I am a huge fan of. That's where we gain weight. Is buffet.
Yeah.
But it's also really expensive, but so worth it. It's really good quality food and just tons of it.
And it's one of those things where every time we've gone, like the kids still talk about it. Like they still talk about
Very fun.
It's one of these places where they have like gimmicks like this ginormous bucket, 100-gallon bucket, and this bucket like every 30, 40 seconds, I don't know, every 5 minutes, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the interval is, but whatever it is,
Once it fills,
it turns
dumps.
over and it pours water all over the place. And kids just love that.
Because it's a water park.
They love it.
But they have other things, and we haven't done this yet, and because we've gone twice.
Yeah.
We haven't done the whole magic wand, getting the hints and clues.
Oh, yeah, we've never, because they haven't been old enough. But now they would
and
be.
it was super expensive.
Yeah,
but
they would be now.
Yeah.
And she would love that.
Yeah.
She would, and to be for her birthday too.
Yeah.
That'd be really great.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? As an adult, I still enjoy it too. I don't enjoy the cost.
Well, you are a swimmer.
Yeah.
You like water, so.
And the rooms aren't bad. They're not bad. They have like cool like caves and stuff for the kids if you get the right rooms. But
Bunk beds.
yeah, I love bunk beds. Patreon.com/JupiterSignal. I made a thing just for our patrons, and I want to let you know about it. It's a patron-exclusive vlog. So we've been talking about Amazon in this episode. Well, did you know that Amazon has physical stores? I know you knew that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. But I went to one. I went inside an Amazon bookstore. Well, they call it a bookstore, but they sell a lot more. And we went there. It was pretty great. And on top of that, we met up with a really awesome community member, Mr. XMN from the chat room, and that's all in the patron-exclusive vlog, patreon.com/JupiterSignal. You support the whole network. You help us invest in current content and where we're going, the next level of where we're going, and you get perks like live stream episodes and exclusive content from time to time. Patreon.com/JupiterSignal. A listener of this show, a hero. He goes by the name Jeff, but I call him a hero. He came up from California area and showed up here at the studio. Well, nobody was here, so we gave him the secret code to enter because Beard was gone at TwitchCon and I was up at a campground. And he comes into the studio and he brings multiple packs of bacon and coffee, all that stuff, and some cider, which we just finished off. And
He's like a little JB Santa Claus.
and he was here to help me set up full power hookups at the barn for Lady Jupes, where we park in the junkyard. What I call the junkyard is actually a barnyard. Game changer for us, because fall is coming and it's getting colder and colder, and so we need to use more heat, so we have to use more electricity, and we were really starting to have to do a dance. And Jeff listens to User Error and watches the vlog, and he's like, I think I can help. And so he drove up here from freaking California to Washington, to northern Washington.
So he switched places with me.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, right.
He did. And he stayed at the studio while you didn't. And then he left and you showed up, actually.
Yeah, right.
And,
Weird.
So it took him maybe hour and a half, 2 hours to bang this whole thing out. And it really showed me, too, like, I wouldn't have, like, his skill at, like, working with the metal piping or intuitively understanding how it all works. But I understood everything he was doing, like installing the breaker, wiring the breaker, running conduit, then wiring it to the plug, making sure that the mains were off before you kill yourself. Those things all make sense to me. But I just didn't have that. I didn't have the missing pieces. And so I was going to have to pay somebody, $500 to do that work? Because they'd come out and they'd give me like a little look over. Mm-hmm. They'd probably have all kinds of questions that I wouldn't have answers for because I'm not the owner of the building, even though we did have permission from the owner. And then maybe they'd come back out days later. And you know how I am with scheduling stuff and work.
Yes.
Like that would have been horrible, right? Mm-hmm. That would have been so stressful for me. And then $500 later, he would have been done in 2 hours, and I would have had a hookup, and I would have been out of $500 and out of a lot of time and a lot of stress. And Jeff just came up here and installed it for me in a matter of hours. We still had time to then go pick up Lady Jupes and move her back to the junkyard, hook it all up and test it. We had time to go out to dinner. It was so awesome. And now I feel like I've gone from camping in Mount Vernon to like living in an apartment in Mount Vernon, because I can run the microwave and I can have a heater on at the same time. I can run my electric fireplace again, and it's just, it feels like home.
Here's the question I have, because I know last year, being your first winter.
I think it was our second.
Was it?
I think so. Yeah, it was our second. But it was our first winter in Lady Jupes.
Yeah, right. Before you had the trailer, which did that have running water?
Well, yeah, we had a campground, yeah.
Okay, well, anyway.
But that winter in the trailer, in the original Rover, that was a way more mild winter than the winter we had with Lady Jupes, which last year was a really...
Right. The pipes froze a lot.
Yeah,
so are you able to plug more stuff in to prevent that from happening now?
Oh, yeah. I'm on top of it. Yeah.
Do you have like electric pipe warmers, or I don't know how that works?
Well, so to keep the water bay, what you do is it doesn't require much. It just requires a light bulb. So you just have to be able to run a light bulb in the water bay. So I've got like one of those little working hanging lights that I put in, and then I've got a little plug that triggers based on temperature, and it triggers on when it's around like 35 degrees. I forget what I set it.
That makes
sense. And then turns off when it's at 40 degrees.
Cool.
But the problem we ended up having, even after I had that solved, was then immediately the campground's water totally froze. And all of their pipes froze and then broke even. And then they had like it was awful.
It's a problem. Report it upstream.
yeah, exactly. It was totally an upstream issue. But now I think what we're going to do this winter is we got the green light to turn the water on at the junkyard, which is awesome. Have running water. But we're going to wait until A, I can afford it, and B, until maybe after things are done freezing, because we can run off the tank. I just have to keep refilling the tank like an animal, like a
savage.
Animal. Yeah, like a savage. But the nice thing about the tank is all of the plumbing there is warmed by the furnace. So when we run the furnace, it keeps all the pipes warm so they don't freeze. So it's a really nice way during the winter to just keep running water going. So we'll probably tank it up for the rest of the winter. But now with 50 amps of power, it means it's cozy in there, and we can have the lights on that we like having on. It just feels all grown up. It's so awesome.
It's like you have a house.
Yeah, and it was just so nice of Jeff to come up here and do that, because, the junkyard started legitimately as like this. I even have it in the vlog. I'm like, we're going to stop here every now and then, but this is definitely not going to be a home base for us, because no, I don't think so. And then as like 8 months have gone on over that time, it's like, well, God, it's really nice to only have a 22-minute drive to work. That kind of is a life changer from an hour and 45 minutes each way.
And the kids have friends that are each their own age.
3 kids.
Yeah.
And there's a school area right next to us, so there's a place for them all to play. And the neighbors have a really beautiful yard, and they're great people. And it's like just perfect, because now we have full power, so that compromise is gone. And
soon to be water.
And, you know, there's something to the fact too that like nobody can tell us when we have to leave the junkyard. Like there's no like time limit for how long we can be parked there, like there is at some campsites.
Right. Or dues. Or
no dues, no rules. There's just no, which is how I prefer to live.
Right? Yeah. Well, let's be honest here.
Like I don't have to worry about nothing, you know, and I don't have to worry about the kids because the whole place is fenced in. So it's just great. So the only thing that was really, really, truly missing at this point was we were running the whole shebang off of 20 amps of power, which if you think about it, it's like one surge protector. Imagine running your entire home off of a single surge protector. You end up doing a lot of crazy power math constantly, and that entire problem's gone now. And so that's just wonderful. So thank you to listener Jeff for coming out. And I'm putting a vlog together of the whole thing, including some unbelievably gorgeous Pacific Northwest fall shots. Just, God, they're so great. And Jeff himself was a drone pilot.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, we did some droning while he was out. So got some great drone shots coming out in the vlog to check that out, too. It's going to be a good one. This episode of User Error can't go by without acknowledging the very spooky holiday that's happening here in the States this weekend. It's Halloween, and I thought, why not have a little Halloween moment? And Andrew reminded me that we have a semi-embarrassing Halloween story we could share with the class.
Yeah, so...
Oh, no, here we go.
We got together with friends, and we're going to the...
Cube 93 Haunted House.
Yes, which really, we got there, it's a haunted tent.
Yeah, it was put on by a local radio station.
Yeah, we went to Outback Steakhouse first, right? For
Natch.
the bloomin' onion.
Got lots of bloomin' onion.
Just appetized the S out of ourselves, and I had my Shirley Temple.
Yeah, and of course everybody else is drinking. Because I'm drinking, our friends are drinking.
Yeah. And so, and I wasn't a big drinker back then, but, well, Chris
back then.
Well, I'm not now either, thanks, but I do like my chocolate wine. Anyway, while he was in the bathroom, I decided to take a shot of vodka, and then I told him, you know, I was all proud. Because this is like, I was like, what, 19, I think?
No, you couldn't have been. They wouldn't have served you vodka. So you must have been just turned 21.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. But so, yeah, and you know, so we're sitting there having dinner, right? And
well, appetizers. It was just appetizers, because that was your concern. Like, you ate nothing but greasy crap.
Right.
Then you had carbonation, and then took a shot of vodka.
You're going to get sick. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if I would have recommended vodka. I don't know if I would have done that. Maybe a mixed drink might have been better.
Right.
But initially, you were okay.
Yeah. So I thought, well, I can't make myself throw up. So what's done is done. So we get in line for the haunted tent.
Cube 93 Haunted House.
Cube
93.
My stomach is starting to feel upset.
Yeah.
And this isn't even like at the suggestion that it was a bad idea.
I want to paint the scene. Okay. So we're outside in what is actually just a parking lot that has been sort of roped off for this tent, and they've got Cube 93, Cube 93, like their radio's just blasting in the background playing. So we're kind of talking to each other, but like it's sort of disorienting because we've been drinking. It's extremely loud. It's cold. It's dark.
You're in a parking lot next to a tent.
In line to a very loud haunted house. And so I can tell something's off, but I can't quite tell like how bad she is or not. And what are we going to do? We're in line, right?
Yep. So I'm looking around, and then somebody, like 5 people in front of us, lights up a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
And that is all my body needed to reject. Like, I reacted so negatively to cigarette smoke, which I only recently found out is because it actually has a decent amount of nickel in it, and I'm allergic to nickel.
It was like instantaneous.
But it was. So I went under the rope. I ran to a curb, and I sat down, and the curb, it was like there was a garden area.
Yeah, it was like little bushes, little hedges.
And like I sat down on the curb with my legs open, and I just projectile vomited.
And
it just
Cube 93, Cube 93, boom, 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 boom. And we're just standing there like, oh God.
And then I rest for a second, and then, and then I was good.
Yeah, and then we went through the haunted house, which
was fine.
I don't remember it being. You know what? It's funny about that haunted house. It wasn't any better than the haunted houses, the Thousand Trails. It's just like it was like a tarp tent you walked through, and lights and smoke
Lots
and
of
sounds.
Hype.
And
I mean, look at the bright side. At least you projectile vomited before you went in.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember afterwards? Like, did you get any on you? Like, I don't remember. You were pretty good.
Like I said, I sat on the curb. I opened my legs, and I just, so nothing dripped down. It was so projectile that it didn't even run down my chin.
Happy Halloween, everybody.